ahead. You got a question?
Well, well, we're talking about satellites, and I know you have a theory, and people are like, people are putting in the chat satellites with question marks, and
Yes.
you're not talking about satellites and outer space. NASA story. To you, define satellite for everybody here. What do you mean? What you thought you were working with back then, obviously, was satellites in space, but now what do you believe the communications are relaying through, or whatever? Please.
Okay, we all know that there are a lot of probes, a lot of platforms that they say are spacecraft that are simply being let aloft by balloons. We all know that, right?
Yep.
Okay. But this is just something I've put out there. I don't have personally any proof, but from what I know of how electromagnetism works, and there's a thing called ground differential. Okay. So maybe some of the folks out there know this, maybe they don't. You can look it up. About every 10 feet you get up in the air, there's a potential electric charge of 100 volts. So every 10 feet higher, you get a potential 100 volts higher. Okay, by the time you get into the stratosphere height, I can't imagine what the potential voltage is. Okay, anytime that potential, you know, our atmosphere is fluid, right? That it is electric. You ever seen a lightning strike? Okay, so look, you have this aspect of multiple frequencies and multiple layers of electromagnetic fields. Okay. And the atmosphere, the fluctuating atmosphere also fluctuates those fields. All right. And you can leverage those fields and you can put a device aloft in those fields. So you basically, you create an opposing field in a device. You use the energy that's available in the air. It's called potential. It's there. Right.
Yeah.
And so you use that potential energy and you sit aloft a device and it basically floats on opposing fields and just floats in a magnetic field, hung up in the air, high up in the air. All right. So it's using electromagnetic fields and frequencies to be able to do that. Well, we also have to change our language. There's no such thing as space, folks. That's a crock. Okay.
Yep.
And so it's very difficult when we've been fed, even the language we use to talk about these things is controlled, right? Yep. I mean, and almost everything we say has been planted, seeded into our minds. It's almost difficult to even discuss it without using their language. So anyway, does that make sense, dude?
No, it does. Because so, I know you have a theory, and it's just I just wanted to make it clear because people are like, well, what does he mean satellites? Yeah, we know there's ones on balloons, and you think it's a combination of maybe some other stuff too.
Here's why I can say that there are space probes or space science platforms that we put aloft, whatever we want to call them. I'll just call them spaceships because we all know what we're imagining in their eyes. I put my hands on way too many, and I've served at too many launches. They are real. Do they dump them all in the ocean? I've seen here's another thing too, because anytime we're arguing against what they're telling us, you have to know what you're arguing, right? So you have to know what they say so that you can rebut it, right? So look. Anytime you see a launch, you'll see it go up and then you'll see it curve, like really huge curve as it gets further away from you. And everybody makes the assumption that it's just dropping into the ocean. What they will tell you is that's for the orbital path, is that it goes up and out. From your perspective, it's going up and over, and it's starting for its orbital path to reach orbital velocity. So you have to understand that is, so they're not blowing you off because they're just chuckling going, it's going into orbit, folks. It has to go on a curve. Right. So, but nonetheless, these objects are real. This is just something that I've thought about the whole electromagnetic field flux, is that they're putting these objects up there and leaving them by using those technologies. Okay.